Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this new session of uh, academic writing. And today, again, we shall be carrying forward where we had started and we had left yesterday. That was argumentation part one. Today, I shall be talking about argumentation part two. And I would request you on the very onset that please, unmute yourself and do, make this session as lively, as interactive as possible, because it is for you only that we are holding these sessions, which are being conducted by various professors of Amity University. This is meant to enrich you, to guide you, to help you, and perhaps to be a trailblazer for those students who are writing their thesis, who are writing their NTCC projects, who also wish to become academicians in near future. So this is basically to showcase the value system or those nuances, those complexities which are essential when you are composing, when you are drafting an academic writing, an academic piece. So taking this whole process forward, I shall share my screen with you, and please feel free to talk and interrupt in between. There is no problem, because as I told you yesterday also, I do not wish to hold a lecture. Rather, I wish to hold a workshop. So there is a lot in store for you today. And we have host of activities also lined up, along with some value additions, some takeaways from this workshop. Uh, do let me know if you guys can see my screen. I'm trying to share my screen right now, and just give me a moment's time. Can you see my screen, all of you? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Bhavna. So this is what is required. You need to talk to me. You need to be interactive. Don't be quiet, because that is not the idea. That is not the aim of holding these workshops. These workshops are being held with lot of effort, with lot of deliberation, with lot of hard work. So please, feel free and be part of this whole session, this whole, paraphernalia with lot of enthusiasm. So be as enthusiastic as we are. Okay. So this is the second part of argumentation, which I was talking about yesterday, and we are moving a step forward. Now, before I take up today's, topic, I would like to talk about the, four different styles of writing, out of which two already we have discussed yesterday. One is descriptive style, which is basically used to describe. It is both used in academic writing as well as your creative writing. Now, from here, we also understood the difference between descriptive format, which is utilized in both the creative writing part as well as academic writing part. So there is difference, however. And I also discussed with you some takeaways. I have discussed with you the formats and how it comes to use. Second one was the narrative style of writing, which is employed basically by writers, by playwrights, by poets. Uh, and it definitely gives an insight into what is happening in the mind of the writer. So a narrative style basically is responsible for building texts, for building novels, for making plays happen, for making poems happen. So narrative definitely is important, because without, as I told you yesterday, without a text, we cannot actually expect to write a research paper. As far as humanities go, as far as English literature goes, without a text, we cannot even think of writing a research paper. We do require some sort of text, even if we are discussing about literary criticism. There has to be some text, some example, some concrete evidence, some substantiation. So that comes from where? From the text. So both these formats which we have discussed yesterday, I guess there are no questions from your end. If they are, because as I promised you today, I shall take those questions. If there are anything or if there are any questions in your mind which you wanted to ask, please feel free. And then I shall talk about those two new aspects. One is expository, other is persuasive. So, is there any question from your end? Has Nihal joined us? Can somebody please check and tell
Yes,
me?
yes, ma'am.
Oh,
I am
Nihal.
in the session, and you didn't answer my last question, and I hope
Yes, yes, yes.
you will take up my your question.
Okay, so before I take up your question, Nihal, may I request you to repeat your question? Reason being that yesterday it was almost time, and as you are aware, it was around like 4 o'clock, and the session was about to get closed. So I promised you I will answer your question today, your query today. May I request you to repeat that question so that we can go ahead with the answer also. Please repeat the question.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, I will repeat my question.
Hmm.
In yesterday's session, you talked about the writer's writing style, like you in one of the slides you have discussed, like a writer cannot fool anyone with his writing. A writer cannot fool anyone with his writing. Though a writer can, though a writer can though a writer can write with the various styles of writing, but a writer cannot fool anyone with his style of writing, with his with the content with the content. So my question was ki, during my graduation days I used to admire Charles Dickens a lot because of his writing.
Hmm.
And I was mesmerized by the content of his writing, because I thought there is a man in 19th century who is talking about poor children, who is talking about poor people, and there is a man who is who is trying to help even the downtrodden sections of the people. And I used to think, yes, there is a man who can be called Premchand of England, because he was he was doing his work on social realism.
Hmm.
But during my post graduation days, and during my and after a few months, after the completion of my post graduation, I started reading about Charles Dickens real life. And what I have noticed, like he was a very pathetic man in his real life. He had 10 children. He literally used his wife as a baby making machine.
Hmm.
So I think if he was alive in today's era, there is ample chances that most of his writings would have been banned. He
Hmm.
would be termed as a racist. He would be
Hmm.
termed as anti-feminist. So
Hmm.
my question is, can a writer fool anyone through his writing about his own personality?
Hmm.
Because through his writing you cannot judge Charles Dickens about his real personality. I can give another example. Wordsworth. We admire Wordsworth for describing the beauty of nature, for describing the aesthetics of nature. But
Hmm.
do you really know? I think most of the graduation students might not be aware of this fact that Wordsworth was very pathetic person in his real life. He ran
Hmm.
away with his own student, and what
Hmm.
happened after that? He made her pregnant, and he again left her own student. So
Hmm.
he was a very, he was a very dishonest man in his real life. And then you can read further about like his fight with fight with Browning and other writers, fight with Browning and Shelley and
Hmm.
etc.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
was a very bad person in his real life. So I just want to ask you, can a writer fool anyone about his own personality through his writing? Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, wonderful question. Let me compliment you. A very, very well researched question, a very interesting question you've asked. Now, the answer is, Nihal, you will agree as a student of literature. If you study, if you look at anybody's creativity or creative longevity, you will find that a particular poet, a particular novelist, a particular playwright does not write for his entire life. There are phrases, there are particular phases when you have this bout of creativity and suddenly you start writing. Because as you have just mentioned about Wordsworth, when he was asked that, okay, describe poetry, I do hope that you know the answer. What was his answer? What is poetry according to Wordsworth? Nihal.
Spontaneous overflow of
Overflow of
emotion
powerful
recollected in
emotion.
tranquility.
Yes, recollected in tranquility. This is one definition which every student is made to memorize. You will agree. Now, if you look at the words of this definition, I think it qualifies for every genre of writing, not just poetry. Even for any creativity, you require that spontaneous overflow of powerful emotion without which you cannot write. So when these people, when these legends, they wrote, okay, they were in particular phases. They were not writing whole of their life. And if they wrote also by chance, that writing was not a qualified writing, that writing was not immortalized. Okay, so if you try to corroborate between both the writing of a research scholar on one hand and the writing of a legend on the other hand, obviously there has to be a huge gap. A research scholar definitely cannot fool. When he writes, his perception, his understanding, his concept, his choice of words, his choice of vocabulary, his choice of expression will tell you each and everything about his personality. Why? Because there is a difference between a legend and a research scholar. That is one. Number two, coming to the legends, as I told you, they did not write for all of their lives. There were certain phrases or phases, there were certain gaps, there were certain eras, there were certain periods in which they have created immortal writings. Coming back to Dickens, as you said, if you try to corroborate between the life of Dickens and the creative genius of Dickens, you will find that yes, there were autobiographical elements in Bleak House as well as in David Copperfield. Why? Because he was writing when he was very young, and it showed unconsciously, it showed his own life, it reflected his personality, it reflected his past, it reflected his struggles, it reflected the bleakness of his life. So you cannot, compare somebody's life with somebody's creativity, because he does not create the whole of his life. Okay, so that is one thing which I want you to understand. I hope I have answered your query, Nihal. Have I answered your query? Tell me. Now, for
Ma'am,
example, if I talk about you, Nihal, what is your age right now? Just an
ma'am,
example.
26.
26, 26. Fine. You at age of 26, Nihal is going to write a thesis, and he's writing a thesis right now. Okay. That is going to reflect the younger age, that younger Nihal. But what you will do after submitting your PhD, nobody knows. In real life, in actuality, in real time situations, we don't know, no? So same was the case with these legends also. But when I said that you cannot lie through your writings, I was talking about basically about the research scholars. There is a difference between the stalwarts of literature and research scholars and academicians like me. We cannot fool. We cannot fool. That is one thing. And if we try to fool also, there are people who are going to judge us. There are people who are going to read what we write. There are people who are going to check. Okay, and there perhaps those gaps will be seen. That gaps in our perception will be seen. Like yesterday, when I was showing you pictures of illusion, especially, some of you said it is a skull. Some of you said there are two women sitting together. Some of you said that there is one lady who's sitting in front of a dressing table. That is called perception. You cannot lie. Whatever you understand, whatever you perceive, whatever you visualize, you are going to put it in words, and words are going to tell the world what kind of a person you are, whether you are somebody who is a positive individual or a pessimistic individual. So that is for sure. So there is a definitely a line between us and between the stalwarts. Remember, they did not write for their entire lives. There were certain periods in which they have composed, and when they composed masterpieces, which we cannot question, which we kind of imbibe, which we adore, which we admire, which we learn. Not only learn ourselves, but when we become teachers, we make our students also learn. Why? Because we are not there to judge their personal lives. We are there to understand their creative genius as academicians. That is not our job to judge somebody that, okay, he was a racist or he was this or he was that. Let him be, leave it alone, because we are there to focus on his creativity, on his caliber, on his talent, on that immortality of writing which made him, alive for centuries and centuries together. So that is one thing which you need to understand. Do not lose this concept, this perception, this thought that they don't write all their lives. Okay, so from here, Nihal, if I have answered your query, can we go forward today and take this session ahead?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, who's this, my dear?
Ma'am Riti.
Oh, Riti. Yes, Riti, come on.
Ma'am, I would like to add something.
Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, good afternoon, first of all. Ma'am, probably this is one of the reasons why the prominence of criticism and the critique has arisen in this past century, and also the debate, which is very prominent in literature, that should the literature only serve the purpose of delighting or instructing. So this is how the critics have to judge, or probably if not judge, then criticize on the basis of their own. Also, Matthew Arnold said that we should have a cornerstone, and according to which we should evaluate or analyze literary work. So this, I
Exactly.
think, this is how we have. Ma'am, if we did not have the ability, then we would not have come along so far in criticism or literature, so as to say.
Exactly, exactly. You're right. But beta, I feel that, demeaning somebody is also not correct. Na? And remember, they did not write for all their lives. And if you take Rabindranath Tagore's example, though he wrote till the last days as well, but then his genius gradually was diminishing. It was leaving him. It was going. So when we talk about these stalwarts, these legends, okay, we generally, love to read or understand those works which were, immortal, which were priceless, which actually defined our literature, English literature for sure. So if you talk about Wordsworth, maybe Words, and when I just asked Nihal, and you guys must be listening as well, what is poetry? This is one definition which has come to us when even I was a student. I was taught by my professors that this is a definition of poetry, and how true it is, how true it is. And you are right. In the from the last century itself, this criticism has grown. But then you need to understand the periods in which they have created their work. Okay. So thank you so much for your input, Riti. And Nihal, if you allow me, can I take forward this discussion, because there is a lot which is there.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, you definitely can. But but I just want to raise 2 points. First thing is, most writers often battle with the problem writer's block at the end of with the end of the lives. And your point, like your real personality will definitely, your real personality would definitely be focused through your through writing. I would just like to give the example of Sylvia Plath. As far as I can remember, none of her poems are autobiographical. but still through her poems you can identify her thought process,
Yes, you
her
can
suicidal
identify.
thought process.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Very
there
true.
is a
Very
line of
true.
there is a line of hers
Hmm.
like death is an art, and
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
do it exceptionally well.
Hmm.
I think she has
Hmm.
attempted suicide
Yes.
4 or 5 times.
Four,
So
five
definitely you
times,
can
and
yeah.
so much so when she was, I think there was there's an interview also, if I am able to recollect very correctly. She says that whenever your dream dies, you die. So that was the level of her sensitivity. So according to her, she says whenever you lose your dream, you die. So death is not just physical, it could be emotional, it could be psychological, and hence it makes you a very sensitive individual as a literature student. That see, this is what is the beauty of literature. This is actually something which we marvel. And this makes us, I remember one of my professors when I was a young student, when I was a graduate myself, he used to say this, that English makes you, literature makes you a better individual. Why? Because after reading so many texts, so many poems, so many novels, autobiographies, definitely you become an enriched individual, and you are a changed individual. You are a sensitive individual. You start looking at the world in a very different perspective. So having said that, you are very right. When you say about Sylvia Plath, she says whenever you lose your dream, you die. So that is there 101%. So there are some writers, and especially in Dickens, as I just told you, I just mentioned, there are two of his works which can be classified, or from where we can get the autobiographical element. Whatever happened to him in his childhood, he has documented, or maybe documented unconsciously. He never wanted to. Nobody wants to show you the darker side of his life. But why? Because he was writing, and he was young at that time. He was writing. Then this David Copperfield, you come to know the bleakness of his, or the darkness which was there in his life. So autobiographical element definitely is there in all the writers. You cannot deny. But then you also cannot deny that there were some creative bouts which have happened in most of the cases. And when that creativity came to them, they have created immortal, literature, which is even, loved, revered, respected till date. A thing of beauty is joy forever, says who? Nihal, who has said that?
Keats, ma'am. John
Keats,
Keats.
John Keats. From where does that idea comes to him? A thing of beauty is joy forever. You getting me? So definitely there has been, some sort of element, or some sort of fillip, some sort of push in their life, which made these people create immortal lines which you cannot even think. Being scholars, being an academician myself, I can't think of such lines, I can't think of such expressions. So maybe they were blessed by the providence, by God, and these people have created immortal literature, which has been there with us since ages. You look at Shakespeare. To be or not to be is the question. And Amitabh Bachchan, when he wrote his, I think it was a biography which he published, he gave this name, to be or not to be is the question. So such immortality does not happen out of the blue. There is some spontaneity, there is some creativity, there is some creative bout which comes, and these people have created immortal literature. I mean, what can I say? But then there is always a difference between them and us. However, with little practice, with little, effort, obviously we also can reach, but not to their level, but maybe somewhere, wherein we also will be, kind of recognized. As I yesterday was talking about Meena Kandasamy, wasn't I telling you that initially she started writing poems, poems, which talked about her life, because she also was going through a very turbulent married life. So just to get rid of that guilt, that expression, I mean that sort of phase, she started composing small poems. From there, she got appreciation from her friends, and then she thought about documenting her own turbulent married life, and that culminates into When I Hit You. Read that novel, you will cry. Look at that, the kind of, what should I say? It is definitely violence, physical violence, no doubt is there, meant, but psychological violence, emotional violence has also been shown. So it is something which was documented by a writer herself, and definitely you can find the persona of Meena Kandasamy very easily. You can decode her personality without any problem. So When I Hit You is one such thing. Then second was, as I told you, Gypsy Goddess, wherein she talks about the problem of Dalits, how Dalits are being treated. And this, mind you, is not documented in the northern part of this country, but southern India, which is supposed to be, supposedly we feel that they are, their literacy rate is very high, and people are educated. But if you look at Gypsy Goddess, you will find that, my God, the problem is pan India, and she has documented it. You read whenever you get time. And now, though, with changing times, because we are talking about contemporary issues, contemporary writing style, now people are, experimenting into fusion. They are not simply writing those four formats which we discussed yesterday about narratives. They are experimenting on their own. So a lot of, contemporary things are happening. Lot of fusion is happening. Lot of experimental, uh, you know, uh, efforts are going on the part of the writers today. So you suddenly wake up to the idea that yes, this can be done. Like, for example, I was talking about Meena Kandasamy herself. There's a third novel. I'm just forgetting the name. I'll tell you in a minute if I am able to recollect. She has written a novel which has, on the left hand side, it has the narrative, and on the right hand side she has given you notes that when did this particular event happen in her life and how she translated it into a novel. So that kind of experimentation, that kind of fusion, that kind of fearless, I should say, compositions, fearless creativity is happening around you. So we need not go back and look towards Victorian age or other such, glorious times, because as a research scholar, I would suggest that these eras already have been saturated. Already so much has been written about these people. Why don't we look at the contemporary times? Why don't we look at what is happening today? Why don't we look at what kind of new experimentation is taking place? And they are not bothered whether they will find a publisher to publish their book or not in India. They simply write, and they get publications also done abroad. So she got this sort of fusion sort of a thing, or a new, I should say, an experimental piece published from UK. In India, they were not publishing. They said, no, this is not novel. This is something else. So look at the creativity, look at the amount of effort which is happening, look at the amount of change which is happening. And why should we just remain with the bygone era? Why don't we see towards the contemporary issues? Do you agree with me or not? Yes, please. Look at them. I mean, they're fearless people, and she's a woman. In the bygone times, in the 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, we used to say, oh, she's a woman, so she has to change her name, otherwise her book will not get published, blah blah blah. And here you meet a woman who is fearless enough, who is not thinking about not getting her work published or who will publish her work. She has found another way out. So contemporary, I think, treatment of literature is very significant, and it is happening. It is happening right now. So I would suggest that, why don't we look at them? Okay, and they are writing, composing in their vernacular language as well. It is not that they are simply writing in English or that is the end of the story. No, they are writing in vernacular, their own mother tongue also. Okay, so that means creativity knows no bound, as they say. There is no foundation, there is nothing which can stop you. Look at them. And that is the progression of literature. That is the beauty of literature. Okay, guys, so with your permission, shall we move an inch ahead? And I hope that I answered your queries. Have I or have I not?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, and you definitely go and see the contemporary writers. Indian English writers are no less, believe me. Amazing, amazing work is happening, but the only problem is we do not give them their due, or maybe we don't know. It can be either of the things, no? So this is what it is. Okay, with your permission, guys, I'm taking you forward, and I shall perhaps talk about. Yeah, so I was talking about descriptive writing, which yesterday we had done, we had covered, and narrative also. Now today, let us see what is there in our kitty. Let us find out. So we are going ahead and talking about what is expository. Now I hope that most of you know what is expository style of or form of writing. Who will tell me? The slide is right in front of you. Who will tell me? Tell me, come on. See, you don't have to be quiet, okay? Let us make it interactive as possible. I don't want to sound as, giving you guys a lecture, which I am actually not. This is a workshop. And it has been, crafted with lot of care, lot of effort. It would be lovely if you guys, interact and talk to us, be part of it. So what is expository? If you don't know, I will do it for you.
Ma'am, expository writing can be called as factual writing, and I think most historical text or most historical writings can be categorized under expository writing.
Yes.
In short, you can say that.
Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else? Riti, can you add on to this? Riti? Okay. I think what you said, Nihal, was very correct. Exposition or expository type of writing is basically factual writing. It is based on facts and figures. And we also require, there are some, tips which we need to keep in mind when we are talking about expository writing. First is that there are certain elements in this expository writing. Okay, which is definitely the primary aim is the purpose of writing. Why are we writing in an expository form? Definitely it is to talk about the issues, the subject, the method, or the idea using some facts and figures. So we cannot fudge. There is a very less, space for us to kind of make or create something on our own. It is not creative writing, definitely, but it is factual writing. And especially when you study subjects like political science, history, remember the very first chapter says, okay, what is political science? So you get a definition. Okay, I mean, what are the elements? You get the answer there. So this is expository. By, step by step, you are being exposed, or you are being, given more and more knowledge gradually, factually, that is expository. So I go forward here. Now, now, these are one of the several forms. One is descriptive, which should have a definition, as I just told you, especially when you study subjects like, political science, history, geography, sociology. Huh? In those subjects, the very first chapter talks about definition, and it describes as to what is sociology, what is political science, what is history, why history is relevant, why you should study political science, what is the significance, what is the utility. All those things are definitely part of expository format. Okay. So this is just for the info of young students. My young students are also here. First year children are here. Second is process oblique sequential. Now, in this particular format, we talk about the steps needed in order to complete a task. So we talk about a process. For example, if we are talking about a recipe, how to make a particular dish, how to go about it. So there the process is very neatly, step by step, in a very sequential manner it is discussed. So that you don't go wrong. And suppose if you are trying to bake a cake, it should be done correctly. So steps are very nicely and neatly, very clearly deciphered. Then we come to the third part, which is comparative oblique contrast. So this, in this particular mode, you try to find the similarities as well as dissimilarities between two things, two articles. It also talks about the merits and demerits. It also talks about the takeaway or the significance, the relevance as well. So comparative is something which is very relevant today. And if I talk about literature, yes, comparative literature is taking up in a big way. It was there, previously also, but now, research scholars are they are trying to compare two to three writers at one time. So comparative literature also comes from this only. They are trying to find, first of all, authors which have some sort of commonality, and then they are trying to delve into what is different in them. First, what is similarities, what is commonality, then they go ahead and try to find out the dissimilarities, and then they try to examine as to how the treatment is different in all the three writers or in more of those writers. So this is also something which is coming in a big way. And this is something which is very interesting as well. It makes a wonderful reading, not just reading, it makes a wonderful thesis writing also. And you kind of get a wider perspective as to what is happening around you. Like if I talk about our own geographical boundaries, that is, South Asia, you find lot many women writers are writing at one same time. But if you try to read what they are writing, you will find that they may be, the commonality may be that they're all female writers, women writers. But if you look at the dissimilarity, you will find the treatment is different in all the three. Whereas one tries to talk about adjustment, which should be on the part of a woman. Other talks about boldness, that why should I live with a man who is always abusing me both emotionally and physically. Third may question religion. Third may question the dogmas of religion. So you will find dissimilarity at every level. But that is the beauty of literature. So this comparative narrative or comparative study is something which is very much in today. And I don't know, Nihal and Riti, what are your topics for research? There may be other research scholars also. If they talk to me, I would like to talk to them and know about their research paper, this topic. So Nihal, what is your topic for research?
Ma'am, world literature.
What is the topic?
Ma'am, basically, I'm actually reading few texts about world literature, And though I haven't decided yet, but I think I will do my research on Richard Flanagan, who is contemporary Australian writer. He is Booker awardee in 2014, and he wrote about many things, but generally in most of his works he focused on two things. First is violence, and second is love. And he described various complexities of love, like how love really works in real life. So there are too many things that can be researched upon, and I am currently in the mode of review of literature. So I haven't started working on my thesis yet. As I have already told you, my registration is not done.
Oh, so registration needs to be done first, no? But I would suggest that, Nihal, don't make your research so wide. Try to narrow it down. Okay, otherwise you will be lost, because it is not easy. It is not at all easy to maybe if you pick one Australian writer, maybe one African writer, maybe one, let's say, Sri Lankan writer or an Indian author who writes in English. So the geographies change, and it would be I mean, huge, colossal task of accumulating some sort of commonality between all of them. So I would suggest that you narrow it down. Don't make it that large, because it becomes very difficult for making the loose ends meet, or stitching the whole thing, intertwining the whole thing together. Whole of the thesis has to be as one unit, no? So I suggest that you think about it and narrow it down a bit. Riti, what about you? Riti Chaube.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what about you, my dear?
Ma'am, the topic of my research is sorry, ma'am. The topic of my research is the adaptation of the plays of Eugene O'Neill. He is an American playwright.
Yes, I remember in graduation I read Harry Ape.
Yes, ma'am. So, the movies that have been made on his plays.
Okay, okay, great. So you have already zeroed in on the text, or you are in a process?
Yes, ma'am. I have decided the texts that I'm going to take. Those are obviously Harry Ape, Anna Christie, Long Day's Journey into Night, and maybe I'm not quite sure about this one, but I want to include this because a very great, a prominent cinematographer made this this play into a movie. So I'm just thinking about it, which is The Long Voyage Home.
Okay.
So these are the 4 plays.
Great, 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 great. Okay. Is there any other? Nihal, please go ahead.
In fact, ma'am, I am so flabbergasted that you guys are conducting workshop for first year graduation students. In fact, during my time in 2013, there were no workshop for graduation students, and I can say with so much assurance because I was a student of Delhi University. So if I was not getting any kind of workshops in my university, then you can expect about the students of other universities. So I think that life really moved too fast. Like today, first year students are getting a literary workshop. Such things were not common in my time.
Yes, yes, yes. This is what I was telling you, no, that things are moving very fast. And I told you yesterday, if you remember, I told you that take pride in the fact that you are not ordinary students, you are research students, you are doing research, which is something not every student does. So you guys are not ordinary people. You are doing something which is extraordinary. And besides that, it is not easy to write an academic piece at all. These young students are doing NTCC project work with us in Amity. In second semester, they will be doing, and so and so forth is happening with the other semesters here as well. So we have a combination of graduation students, post graduation students, along with research scholars like you. So we actually want, to give the legacy, to pass on the legacy of academic research to you, because whatever we had to do, we are doing. But then we want our next generation to be enriched as well. So that is our pursuit, that is our idea, that is our vision which we are following. And this vision has been given to us by our founder, President Sir, who wanted this sort of workshop not only held by our department, but I think every department today is holding some or the other workshops for enrichment of the students. Because skills are important today. Theory is not important. Skills is something which will make you employable. Skills is something which will make you stand apart in a crowd where people are applying for jobs, and you guys will get a better opportunity. You guys will be at a better standing. So this is what it is. It is a deliberate effort from our side, and we hope that these workshops do enrich you. They do show some path. They do enlighten you, and they do motivate you to work more. So it is not just something which is done for doing sake. It is something which is being done with soul, heart and soul put together. So we do expect that you guys do get some sort of guidance from us. So this is actually the reason why we are holding such workshops. Now, if you permit me, I will just go back where we start, where what all we were discussing. So after the comparative part, we will talk about cause and effect. Now in your expository, this is another step or another kind of expository essay or research or some sort of paper which you can write. Now it needs to, or maybe a blog which you can work upon. Now here you need to show cause of that problem and what effect that problem had. Then the last is problems and solution. So this type of essay presents a problem and possible solutions by using some sort of statistical data, some sort of facts. It is not based on just opinion or your biased ideas or your concepts. No, it is backed by something substantial, and that is data, facts and figures which cannot be fudged. Now, taking you ahead, these are some tips which I would like to share. And with this, I shall be finishing the first half of this, session, and that talks about expository writing. Now, these are some tips. Now, as you write, keep in mind some of these tips for creating an effective expository essay. Number one, start where you know the information best. So try and write on those topics which make you feel confident. That is one. Because again, I don't know whether Nihal will agree with me or not. And if I don't know, see, this is what I feel and I believe in. You must have heard about SSB, have you? SSB is supposed to be the recruitment process or a filtering process done by the
Yes,
army.
ma'am. For defense forces.
For defense forces. Once you clear your written exam, they ask you to appear in SSB. Now,
Yes.
why I'm reminded, because this thing is attached. When I talk about that, you cannot fool people by your writing. Somewhere down the line, your true self is going to come out. Now, if you look at the filtering process or the SSB process, which the defense applies, what they do is when the student, when the candidate, a successful candidate comes to them for interview, the first filtering process is they show him some sort of visuals and they ask him to write stories, which are not very long stories, very short, 50 words, 60-word long story. And they are the pictures are shown at very quick succession. You don't have time to think. So whatever you see on the picture, and you would kind of jot down. So that sort of process happens, and on a very quick this thing, around 13 to 14 or maybe 15 pictures are shown to you after every 1.5 minute. In that 1.5 minute, you have to jot down stories. I hope that you must have heard about it. Okay, so when these
I
people,
have I have the I
ah,
have the experience, ma'am. I am a conference out student.
Oh,
So, so it is the process that you are telling us that it is the screening process. This process is
inning
generally done on the
process.
first day
First day,
itself.
first day. And
Yeah, first day
that
itself.
that does not gives you time to fudge. That does not gives you time to, forge
Yes, yes.
something. So whatever is there in your heart and your soul and your persona, it comes out. So
Yeah, your
this,
real personality comes out in that particular time frame,
yes.
because there are, there is hardly any time for to think. Like, you can't think of dignified words, you can't think of to write in a dignified language. There is no time. You just have to write whatever you are thinking, whatever the thought process are going on.
Hmm.
So after
So
this process, some students are rejected and then they go into the next round.
yes, so you look at that, and that sort of mechanism has been adopted by the defense for, I think, for last 70 years. And this is a screening process. They screen out the students like that, the candidate on that basis, on the basis of the stories. So when we talk about the fact that you cannot fool anybody by writing something which is forged, or which is something which either you have to be extremely clever, or else your true persona is going to come out. So here also my tip, which I'm sharing here, that when you are writing an expository, form in an expository format, the first thing is, please do not use or try your hand at something which you do not know. Try to write on those part, or those pieces on those topics which make you feel most comfortable. Then second is, be clear and concise. Whatever you are trying to say, be very clear. Be extremely clear what you are trying to convey to your reader. Then stick to facts. You cannot fudge data. You cannot, create something on your own. You cannot fool around. So stick to your facts and consider voice and tone. When we say consider voice and tone, okay, do not write in passive voice, write in active voice. Can you tell me why? And I want Bhavna now to answer, because Bhavna has been very quiet. And Bhavna has been coming every day. So that is very good, Bhavna. You have been consistently with us. Can you tell me, Bhavna, why active voice?
Ma'am, I don't know.
Try. No, no issues. We'll tell you.
Ma'am, maybe it get filtered.
No. Okay. Anybody else from my first year? Where is Shivani? Is Shivani there? Sadia Bilal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta, can you tell us about active voice? Why do we say that whenever we are writing an expository piece, we should use active voice?
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but I guess to be on point and to be concise and to write on point.
Okay, that is very true. So if you write in active voice, that is something which will be understood by by the people. Otherwise, what will happen is perhaps, uh, okay, Sadia, can you just tell them what is active voice and what is a passive voice? Ram killed the snake is what?
Active voice, ma'am.
Ah, and the snake was killed by Ram.
Passive voice, ma'am.
Passive voice. Now, why do we say that you should write in active voice? Come on, come on, come on. It is very easy to understand. Come on. Why? Because if we kind of write in passive voice, it may not be understood very clearly by our reader. Number one. Number two, you will be using so much of space. There is always word limit given. So otherwise, you'll be consuming the space. So hence, to make your thoughts very clearly understandable by your audience, your reader, it is important that you should write in active voice. Now, coming back to tone, you need to have a tone which does reflect some sort of what? Respect. Seven C's we have discussed today. First year was doing, they were giving their presentations Is first year there? Sadia, can you check out? Do you know the first year children? Can you decipher?
No, ma'am, I don't know any.
Shivani Sarath is there? Because if I move from here, perhaps there'll be a problem. Yes? Is there anybody from first year? Seven C's of communication, even Sadia, you must have read, no?
Yes, ma'am, a long time back.
A long time back, but you must be remembering a little bit. Why seven C's are taught as a principle of communication? Can you tell us? Come on, come
Ma'am,
on.
for better communication of our thoughts.
Yes, for effective communication, seven C's are taught: clarity, completeness, courtesy, conciseness, clarity, all those things, those seven C's, they are taught. And it kind of adds, or, it is a value addition when you are writing an expository piece. Now, next, I would like to delve upon types of expository, writings wherein we use this form. First is business writings. Second is essays. Third is instructional articles. Fourth is news writings, journalism. Those of you who are from journalism, is there anybody from journalism here, from ASCO? If yes, then they also are being taught. They are being taught how to write expository writing. Then suppose if you are trying to share various recipes, there also you will have to, go back to the basics. You have to talk about expository writing. Then scientific reports, reports which are done or written by engineers. Uh, why, why it is so? Scientific reports, not only engineers, scientists also, they also write reports. So scientists, these scientific reports or technical reports which cannot be fudged, they are based on true facts and figures. And you need to tell the people what is cause and effect, what is the problem, and how you are going to find a solution, or problem oblique solution. So those sorts of, uh, formats are used here. Then technical writings, again, when we talk about technical writings, we talk about letter writing, resumes, follow-up letters. They're all based on certain facts and figures you cannot fudge. You can't change your academic qualification. You cannot change your technical qualification. You cannot change your achievements. So whatever is there is there. It has to be put in a particular format, and that is all. Then last is textbooks. So suppose we are writing textbooks. There are many people who write textbooks, and they are very well known today. Some of them write for NCRT, some of them write for other publication houses. So these textbooks are also based on facts and figures. You cannot do any sort of fudging, any sort of change, or you can't change the actual data. So textbook writing also is, is a type of expository writing. Then we come to the activity here. And the activity here is, I will not give you much time, just like SSB. You guys need to very quickly decide which topic shall you be most comfortable with. And the activity here is explain why some non-material things that make you happy. Now I will not give you the meaning here of non-material. You have to think. Explain why some non-material things make you happy. Explain the effect of COVID-19 on our lifestyle. Then next is explain the role of social media in contemporary times. So these are three topics which I have brought for you. I want you to very quickly make up your mind and speak on any one. Everybody needs to, participate, because as I told you on the very outset, this is basically a workshop. It is not a lecture. It is not something wherein I will come and I will deliver a lecture and go back. That is not going to happen. You have to speak. Otherwise, this whole effort, there is no meaning to it. So we want to see how you people are going to use And remember, what kind of format are we asking you? What style are we asking you to compose it in? It is an expository format. So take 5 minutes, and then I shall come back to you. You yourself will raise your hands and tell me. I will not call you now. And remember, 90% is important, 90% attendance is important, and 95% is important to score in the post assessment time. So, without which you shall not be given an e-certificate. So, you need to participate here. It is mandatory. You guys have to, participate. There's nothing to
I
write.
guess there
Ah.
are two. I can identify only two, Kashish and Namira, I guess.
Acha, Namira is also there. Chalo,
I
good.
guess.
Tell Namira to call the rest. No, Namira? Namira, can you hear me? No, I don't think so. Is she there? I don't know. One was Namira, other is Kashish Cho.
Yes, ma'am.
Acha, okay. So, guys, come on. Who will speak first and on what topic? You need to tell me which topic have you chosen. There is nothing to write. However, there's another thing which is waiting after this, and that is the quiz. So I've got a quiz also, and that is a documented thing. It would the moment you submit it, it will come back to me. So as I told you, participation is a must. Okay, okay. So coming back to this activity, who will answer first? Come on.
Ma'am, actually, I would like to start, but I think I should give chance to graduation students. So if they are not, they don't want to say anything, then I can start.
Nihal, there is no
because
issue.
They are my juniors.
Nihal, there is no such issue. You go ahead first, perhaps. You can show them the way. You can motivate them, na? Maybe they are a little shy or something like that. So there is no issue. You start, no issues. Just tell me which topic did you zero in?
Ma'am, first topic.
First topic. Why? Explain why some non-material things make you happy. Okay, go ahead, Nihal.
Okay, ma'am, I would like to choose first topic because I am more comfortable. I can relate to this particular topic, and I will only explain about myself what I really think. The topic is why some non-material things make you happy. If you ask me, then the only non-material things give me real happiness, because the things that can be considered under non-material things are like our ideas, our beliefs, the norms that run society, the values that run society. So if you would change material things, you won't reach anywhere. Like there is no end of changing material things. But if you will focus on non-material things, like if you will focus on your values, if you focus on your ideas, then it will give you the real happiness, the aesthetic happiness that the great philosophers are talking about. But material things will just make you only rich. Material things will not give you real happiness until after a certain point you will think these are money. That's why there is a very famous quote: money never give you real happiness. Only your belief system, your ideas, your values will give you real happiness. And I think the society, we humans are different from animals. That's because we can generate ideas. Animals can't generate ideas. They can only think of 2-3 things. For example, sleeping, eating, and maybe mating. Like they are involved in sexual activities. Other than these 3 things, they hardly care about other things. But we are humans. We can delve upon philosophies. We can delve upon different ideas, and that will help us to shape us. And the society that is running today, and and the thing that is driving the society to run forward is are only non-material things, like the values, the beliefs, the ideas that are helping the society to move forward. Material things, if the society will start focusing on material things, they will not go anywhere. And I think the current situation that we are facing nowadays, like people are involved in black marketing of oxygen and other medicines. You need to think like where actually society has gone. there is no compassion, there is no love. And it is because of the thing that the society is more focused on material things. And I think we should try to understand we should try to make understand future generations about non-material things. We should tell them about the about the value of non-material things. Then only can the society can survive, then only I think the humanity can survive. Otherwise there will be no difference between animals and humans. Thank you, ma'am.
Very good. Very, very, very good. Very good, Nihal. Okay, Bhavna. Bhavna, come on. Try on any of the topics which you think you can talk. I think you can talk on COVID-19, Bhavna. Try.
Ma'am, I can speak on the first topic, but I'm not sure if it will be an expository style or not.
Okay, go ahead, beta. No problems. At least this is what it is. Why are we holding a workshop for this? Because
Yeah,
we are
ma'am.
there. Why you worry? You start. No problems.
Ma'am, some of the non-material things which matter the most, first will be the family. We live with them and we are surrounded with them. If the family is toxic, then living in home is like a everyday suicide. And friends are the second family on the earth which we choose by ourselves. Even when we go to university, we are surrounded by them all the time. Teachers do play a very great role, but friends are the one which we spend most of our times with. uh, One non-material thing which I think is which gives me the most happiness is my hobby or passion. My hobby or passion, um,
Okay.
and ma'am, for someone non some for someone, maybe going to an NGO gives them happiness, and that is one non-material thing.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Very
That.
good. Bhavna, very, very good. Ritika Jain, for a change, I can see your hands are raised. Wonderful. Go ahead, Ritika Jain. And then we will come to Khushbu. Very good. Very good. This is the spirit. Go ahead, my dear. Ritika?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, my dear, you are audible. Which topic have you chosen?
Ma'am, I'm going to choose the second topic because this has affected me a lot, I would say personally. So, I would first rather say, in a general perspective, that COVID-19 has, really brought a great impact on everybody's life, and everybody used to have a routine. And I would rather say that the major thing that has affected this, the disease has affected the routine. We are not in habit of sitting all day at home and doing online teaching and online kind of things. So I would rather say that that was very challenging for all of us, that we are here at home all day. We don't have so much social life left, I would rather say. So this has affected us. And secondly, I would say that we have lost our near and dear ones, so that has also affected us a lot. And we have seen that how the country is getting affected on the high note, how India is getting affected on the high note. And also on the lifestyle, I would say that our physical and mental health has been impacted a lot by this, because all day we have to sit in front of laptop and do our work. There is no other option left to continue our work. And apart from that, our screen time has increased a lot. Even I myself got the specs. I used to have a healthy eyes, but now I have got specs. So I would rather say the balance between the mental health and the physical health has also impacted. Anxiety issues, depression, a lot of things has happened. But again, we have to move out of this, because we should treat our body as a temple. And again, whatever has been ruined by this disease and this pandemic, I would say that we should try to cope up with it and get back to the life and get back to the natural, the new normal. So that is all.
Very good, Ritika. Very good. Very good. Beta, you are from AISR?
No, ma'am, I'm from AIE.
Okay.
And yeah, you used to teach us, and I really enjoy your lectures. So I love listening to you. So that is why one of the reason that why I'm here and why I'm in this workshop is because of you only, and also Vinay ma'am. Both of you have taught us. So that is why I love listening to you, and I'm here.
Thank you, beta. Thank you, Ritika. Very well spoken, let me tell you. And as you have decoded this routine, you are very right. Khushbu, I'm coming to you. Yes, Khushbu.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to talk on impact of COVID on our lifestyle. So, literally, it affect on everyone's lifestyle badly or in a good way as well. So, many people, like for example, uh, in the morning, people can go for a walk, but now they can't go. Even I also, and we as an artist I can explore the things by going outside and assuming the nature and other things, but now I have no choice. I am at home. I'm stuck at home and everyone is stuck, and even also people have many problems, like they are worried about their jobs, but we should we are getting negative, but we should stay positive at this time because we should like enhance skills. So whenever the lockdown will um, open, then we'll get job on the basis of our skills. So I think, and there are also what the good advantage of this lockdown, what I felt is that I can explore myself more and more. I can I can I can feel what I want to become in my life, and what the skills I want to raise in my life. For example, I used to I used to sing from the very beginning, but now I'm doing songwriting as well. So it's a great uh, thing in my life that I am writing songs, and that's a good for me. Thank you.
Khushbu, very well spoken.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Beta, you are from AISR?
No, no, ma'am. I am from ASFL.
ASFL. Oh, great, great, great.
Yeah,
That's
ma'am.
wonderful. Yes,
Thank you.
Kashish. Kashish?
Yes, ma'am. I do want to share something upon the effect of COVID-19 on our lifestyles.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, it do have an adverse effect badly, I can say, because most of children that were born recently and their parents were affected from COVID-19. Now they are orphans just because of COVID-19, because they have lost their parents. They they seriously are suffering from all these things. I know it also have a good effect on our lives because we are having much time to spend with our parents, with our family, but I don't think so it have affected so positively for us, because there is no one for the children who were born recently and their parents died nearby. Near my home there are two little girls. One is of 2 months, I think, and one is of around 1 year. They got orphaned, and now no one is trying to accept them because their family was affected by COVID-19, and no one is uh, taking any type of any kind of initiative to give them a home. And it is we can seriously contradict this issue, because this is a large, I think this is a big issue that no one is stepping up for them, no one is accepting them. But is there I don't understand that what mistake they have did, that they were born recently and their parents died. I seriously want that there should be a debate on that, because they haven't done any mistake, that they were born, but they don't have parents now. That's not their mistake, and it should be a compulsion for us, that for many of us, that we have responsibilities. We all know we can't manage our own families, I understand, but we should also understand that that wasn't their mistake now. They should be adopted by someone. The families who don't have their offsprings and they wanted to adopt, they should step up right away for those children, for helping them for their bright future. I do think so. It's my opinion. Sorry if I
No, no,
if I
beta.
have
No,
contradicted
Kashish, it is
something
just
badly.
perfectly okay. Perfectly okay.
Thank you,
Very
ma'am. I
well
just wanted
spoken.
to say that.
No, no, very well articulated, let me tell you. Okay, Sadia Bilal, you've been evading for a long time. Sadia,
Yes, ma'am.
gee, where are you? Now you tell me. On which topic are you going to speak?
Ma'am, on the first topic,
Okay, go ahead.
peace is the non-material thing that makes me feel content, because no amount of money, no amount of food can fill the void inside a person. So indulging or spending some time, spending some time for yourself, in taking care of yourself, by expressing gratitude, even if it is for the tiniest things, could make one feel better, or be appreciative, or even be endurable of their environment. That's it.
Very good, Sadia. Very well spoken.
Thank you.
All of you spoke so well. Is there anybody else who also wishes? Yes, yes. Kirti, I can see your hand is raised.
Yes,
Good.
ma'am. Ma'am, am I
Himanshi
audible to you?
also. Yes, my dear. Yes,
Ma'am,
you
I
are.
would like to talk about the third topic, that the role of social media. Ma'am, I believe that social media has always had a huge impact on our lives. And ma'am, since the pandemic has started, we all have started expressing ourselves and doing what we feel like. But at the same time, social media has its own demerits, because the other people who like simplicity and who are not able to express themselves, they like being confined in their own shells. They start questioning their own identity, because they feel that if I'm just writing or sitting and reading a book, rather than making a video and doing something like that fashionable, so am I not good enough? So this aspect of questioning and comparing ourselves has been seen, because we all feel we are living in an era of likes and followers. We live in an era where we all compare ourselves even on the basis of the college that we go to. So I believe that like this social media thing has ensured that at a point we can express ourselves, but at the same point this message is for the everyone out there who don't feel like doing all these things, but I feel you are still good enough if and the kind of lifestyle you have is amazing, even if you don't like to express yourself.
Thank you, Kirti. Very well spoken. Yes, Himanshi.
And ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, I want to add something what I have
Yes,
spoken.
yes.
That, and I am the issue I have taken. I want to add something to it, because we are observing it, and I don't think so it is appropriate, and people should think about it, because they are commenting. I have shared that post that there are two children for adoption, and most of them were commenting that people who are admiring to adopt children were commenting, who are seriously admiring from 15 years n number of years for a child, now they are commenting that if in this situation, even that if they were boys, we could accept them.
Oh my
And
God.
this is the and this is the worst thing ever I have read in the comments. In this situation, even people are contradicting about genders. They aren't concerned about their lives, they aren't concerned about their future. They don't have any offspring, they are admiring to adopt, but they are so much educated. Even then they are putting up this question, this comment that अगर कोई लड़का हो तो प्लीज बताना, because अगर कोई लड़का होता तो हम अडॉप्ट कर लेते. This isn't gonna work in 21st century, I think.
Right, right.
I do think, and yes, each and every person have their own opinions. I do respect their opinions, but I won't let them do this thing in this situation to girls. Why they are concerned about it is a boy or it is a girl? Is it a matlab, this isn't correct, I think, and people should think about this, and we should pick up this topic as our debates. That on this point of time, in this situation where all countries including India are suffering from such pandemic, and lives are so precious, even then they are contradicting about girls and boys,
Hmm.
that they should have adopted it if it was a boy. Why so?
Yes, exactly. I do understand, beta. You are very right. You're very right.
Ma'am,
Thank.
actually it is so unacceptable to read them and to I can't explain it in words. Sorry if
No, it is okay. Perfectly okay, beta. It is just perfectly okay. Okay, I
Thank
can
you,
see.
ma'am.
Thank you, beta. Thank you so much. Kirti, I can see your hand is again raised. You want to say something else?
Ma'am, yes, I want to add more that how we always feel that, what kind of uncool lives are we living. So I personally want to say that we need to realize that why are we getting so affected, because we don't usually acknowledge what is in front of our nose, and we don't delve deeper to the main reason. And I believe that we need to acknowledge the facts rather than, blaming that the kind of lives we are living and kind of atmosphere we have, because at a point we all complained we don't have time. But if I see from that perspective, now we have ample of time, to live a be disciplined, to do what we really want to do, like to pursue some hobby, or to get a clear track of our life. So if I see that this time can also be taken in a nice manner, ma'am, because I feel that we all are working towards the vaccination and all. So I believe corona to chala jayega, but if a person, you know, develops some sort of depression, then that won't go. So your peace of mind matters more than this pandemic.
Right, 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 right. Thank you, beta, for giving me your input, Kirti. Yes, Himanshi. Himanshi?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Thanks for giving me
afternoon.
the
Your voice is,
opportunity.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
Ma'am, am I clearly audible?
Yes, my dear, you are audible.
Okay, so ma'am, I wanted to speak on the second topic because my parents last year in the month of December, they were diagnosed with this COVID-19 symptoms. So, ma'am, with the rise of cases, with the rise in cases of COVID-19 patients, the lifestyle of many people has been affected in a very bad way. And especially, I can see my father, he takes a lot of stress about this thing. The time that I spent in that month of December was among the, one of the very worst time. It feels as, ma'am, it feels as uh, that the world has switched on to a zombie mode, and it's getting difficult day by day. But thanks that people are getting vaccinated now, and we have developed things now, so I think we'll overcome that. That's
Right.
it, ma'am.
Thank you, beta, Himanshi. Thank you. Yes, Sohadra. Sohadra, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm going to speak on the third topic, the role of social media in contemporary times. So, ma'am, as we all know that social media is a very prevalent medium in today's scenario because of its ability to transfer information and communicate with people worldwide using the internet. And we have also seen how rapidly it has grown in recent years. And social media, ma'am, is not about just blogging or posting picture or showing your fake life. Like I personally believe that most of the things which are uploaded in social media, it's all about fake life because there they show we are very positive and enjoying, but on the reality side, they are suffering. But in order to have a good image, they do these things. But ma'am, coming back to the topic, as the reach for social media is far and high, it goes beyond impressing people to impacting or influencing them with the help of these vital tools like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, and all. But a lot of people, ma'am, also think, which is also correct, that social media has negatively impacted human relationships also. Now coming back to the ma'am, the advantages of social media. So the best example is it can play a very crucial role for the education. It can be a great tool which can be used for creating awareness about social evils or reforms. Like earlier, one of the colleague was mentioning about the social evils related to gender discrimination. It is also a good platform that reduces the distance between loved ones and bring them closer. Another advantage is that it is a good platform for young aspirants like us to showcase their knowledge and skills. And ma'am, like everything has some advantage and disadvantage. So the disadvantage of social media is that we can quickly gain information, but sometimes the information which we get are uh, can be said it's fake is spreading. Our data is on, like lack of privacy is there. Then we can affect from hacking, identity theft, phishing crimes, and other cyber crimes. Thus, ma'am, in conclusion, I just want to say that despite the social media, we know that it has both advantages and disadvantages, but it all depends on the user at the end. The youth of India must particularly create a balance between their academic performance, physical activities, and social media. Excess use of anything is always harmful, and this applies to social media as well. Therefore, we must live a life and have a right balance. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sohadra. You are from which department, Sohadra?
Ma'am, I am from AISS.
AISS Noida.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Very well spoken, Sohadra.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, Shivani, very quick. Shivani, I was waiting for you.
Yes,
Shivani.
ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to speak on the topic, explain the effect of COVID-19 on our lifestyle. So, ma'am, it's no doubt that COVID-19 has impacted our life in a very deep sense, and that even once we recover from this pandemic, the lifestyle that we are following or that we followed because of COVID-19, it's not going to go away any quickly. And first thing, obviously, social distancing. Staying within inside the same house, family members are not being able to hug each other or to have food together. So everyone has developed a small a sort of cocoon for themselves, and they have all been wrapped around their own selves. They've been glued to their phone, the online virtual media, the social media. But obviously, they can't be blamed because you have those small guilty pleasures that keep you sane during such difficult times. Obviously, COVID-19 has had effects on our health, not just with the coronavirus, but according to a research in US, almost 17% students are now being affected more with obesity because they are not being leaving the house and they're always at home. More and more children are getting affected with eyesight issues because of the constant usage of the computers and the online classes. because after spending 8 hours of online class, you have the assignments that have to be written online, that have to be sent. Then the students watch movies, and the other teachers also have to, they cannot abandon the laptop completely. They need to keep themselves going. So we realize that the effect that COVID-19 has had in our life is obviously, like I said earlier, very deep. But I think the positive effects would be that now that we realize that, that freedom that we have lost, we will be more cautious when we exercise it the next time. And even after the COVID-19 goes away, we will be more careful as to not initiate another pandemic, and we'll try to continue the usage of masks. And even though the humans are being affected, we realize that the other species of the earth are slowly healing. That is, a new species of bug was found. The rivers of Italy are becoming clean. So it was almost like nature wanted this so that nature could heal. And humans need to pay for the sins that they have been committing all this while. So obviously a lot of people are putting in their efforts by having online mental health support groups, other exercise like aerobics that have been happening online to keep the people in fitness. And also social media has helped to connect people far and wide together. And even though we are slowly getting back into our normal life, we realize that it cannot happen soon. It will take some time, but when it does, we should not forget the times that we spent right now and exercise our caution carefully. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivani. I am grateful to all of my speakers today. All of you spoke really very well, let me tell you. Big round of applause for all. Wonderful. Very good. Okay, so let us go ahead and finish what we started with. I shall take you guys forward with the workshop once again. And back to the workshop here, we are going to talk about persuasive writing skills. So what we discussed just now was expository writing style, and this is your persuasive writing style, which we are going to touch upon just now. So persuasive writing basically is supposed to aim at convincing of the readers so that they believe in a particular idea, in a particular opinion. And this sort of writing is not easy, because convincing somebody else is definitely not easy otherwise also. And here you are being asked to convince, convince the person through your writing. So definitely it is not easy. So persuasive writing definitely is otherwise utilized by fiction writers. As yesterday also we were talking about Harry Potter, and when we discussed yesterday, we did agree, all of us together, that once you start reading Harry Potter, you are transported into some other world of fantasy. So how does this happen? This happens because the author is so very strong in her persuasive skills. So it is not easy, but then it is not difficult also. So this particular, persuasive skill otherwise also is very much used in non-fiction writings. For example, if you are supposed to, compose or write or create a company's pamphlet or a company's document or a company's advertisement, then obviously these skills come into play. So they are taken to be as skills today. Persuasive writing skills, as we call them. Negotiation skills, as we call them. So it is not just about writing. Yes, Khushbu, I can see your hand is raised just now. You want to say something?
Yeah, ma'am, I have a question. Can we include comic writing in persuasive writing?
Comic writing in persuasive? No, it is a children's literature writing. Okay. Children's writing is different. Okay, so when we talk about persuasive techniques, now here they are for you. First is we have to establish trust and credibility. We also need to understand the purpose of the reader, what is the requirement of the reader, and align according to his requirements. We need to pay attention to language. We also need to pay attention to tone. So instead of saying I every time, it should have you attitude. You should be more concerned about your reader, not about yourself. So next is use rhetoric and repetition. Rhetoric means logic. So if you try to convince somebody through logic, he will definitely agree very easily. And repetition, why? Because by repeating, you are kind of, uh, re reinstating that idea into his mind, that this is what we want and this is what you need to follow. So these are some techniques which are generally followed when you are writing a persuasive piece. Then there are 8 tips for better persuasive writing. First is pick a topic you are most passionate about, know your audience, hook the reader's attention, research both sides, pros and cons, and you should have empathy. You should be able to put yourself in some other person's shoes. So empathy is again very important. And then ask some rhetoric questions, some logical questions, and try to answer them in the same manner, in a logical manner. And then emphasize your point, repeat yourself. These are some tips when we talk about persuasive writing. I have a quiz for you all, and just give me a minute. Types of persuasive writing generally has, composing of ads. Why? Because you have to convince people to, buy your product. That means you are definitely trying to uh, get money out of another person. So ads basically are meant to not only advertise your product, but also ensure that you get a maximum footfall. Your clientage also increases. Next is business proposals, which is again something which we do in practicality, and without persuasive skills, you cannot write it. Next is college admission essays, cover letters. If you are writing a pitch, which we had discussed in advanced creative writing, how to write a pitch for publication, there also you need to have persuasive skills. Now, letter of recommendation, suppose somebody comes to you and requests you that please help me with a recommendatory letter. I may get a job, I may get internship. So in those cases also, you need to be very persuasive. You need to convince the other person to, take that individual on their payroll. So conviction is something which is not easy, but then remember, it is not difficult also. Then next is writing editorial articles, product reviews, or writing for sales pitch. Here also you require lots of this persuasive skill, and it is mandatory that you should be able to master these skills. So it is not just about literature, it is about our day-to-day life also, wherein words matter, wherein your expressions matter, wherein language matters the most. Okay, I hope that you agree with me, all of you. Now, before I come to this takeaway, I would request you guys to please check out your chat box. And let me hide this, otherwise, no. Okay, so go back to the chat box, and there is, I have posted a link. This link is a quiz. Yes, Shivani, you want to say something? Or maybe your hand is raised by mistake. Sorry, I did not see it before.
Ma'am, there is no link in the chat box.
I have just posted it.
Ma'am, I wanted to say that when you talk about the persuasive writing, um, does it include like obviously the car salesman, they when they are like asking you to buy something and all, that is like the oral form of persuasive writing. But can persuasive writing like be used in novels or short stories or anything like that? Could you just let us know?
Yes, yes, yes. Why not? Why not? There is no foundation, my dear. So if you look at the creative side of it, definitely you need to see when we talk about even thrillers. If we talk about thrillers, we talk about murder mysteries. don't you think that you have to convince the reader that the reader should agree with you what you are trying to convey? So there again, persuasive skills do play a major role. Unless and until you tell your reader in a very logical fashion that this is how the murder took place, or this was the sequence of event, this is how the murder has taken place, and then there is some sort of a jigsaw puzzle as to who is the murderer. Aren't you convincing the reader into something which is not so, let's say, agreeable, which is not so agreeable? Tell me. It is so. Persuasive writing definitely plays a major role everywhere. Okay, so it is just a small example which we try to give you here, but in fiction also it is very much required. It is very much in place, and so is in the other business letters as well. Okay. Yes, so coming back to the chat box, you guys cannot see it.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
let me just check one more time. But then, oh, I have to go back. Maybe I have to unshare or something. No, hold on. Okay, so maybe I have to stop sharing and again go back to the link once, because I did post. I did remember. Just give me a minute. Can you?
Oh.
Yeah. So just give me a minute. I'll just stop sharing this, and well, let me just check how come it is not there. Okay, so in the chat box, it is there, my dear. To all the panelists and attendees, I've already shared a link. It is visible from my end. Just check. Hello?
Ma'am, actually, it is there.
Ah.
When we click on the three dots on right hand side corner, more, it will show chat option.
Okay. So guys, you can have her input here. I think it was Kashish, no? Kashish,
Yes,
who
ma'am.
just shared that three dots. And then what happens, tell them the further process. I can see it visible. It is very much visible from my end. So
Its option is visible on right hand side corner. Three dots are there. It is written more on the option, and when we click it, there are four options: chat, view full transcript, webinar setting, and disconnect audio. There is chat option as well. We can click on that and it will open.
yes, it will open. Now, guys, this is what she is telling you. Please do that. Hello,
Ma'am, what she said is definitely right, but in chat box there is no, there is no link.
Yes, ma'am. Same
Maybe
from my
there is some
end.
problem on my side. I don't know, but there is no link on the chat in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. There is no
Yes,
link.
there is no link, but the chat box is there. Option is there.
Yeah, we know
Option
the
is-
chat option. We know the chat option, but we couldn't see the link there. I'm only
Yeah,
able to see
Kassis,
Monica's
can you
name
see the
message.
link? Kassis, if you
No,
can see
I
the link, you
can't.
can post again.
With
See
that,
it
but
as well.
Okay.
But you should definitely have to.
Okay, maybe I will post it again. Just check. So this is for sir. ये कैसे होगा for all the panelists and attendees कर दूँ या और panelist कर दूँ? Sir?
आप both कर दीजिए both. Attendees में भी कुछ बच्चे हैं ना मैम?
Attendees and ये लिखा है all attendees and panelists.
Yes मैम, सर इसी को कर दीजिए.
इसी को करते हैं and बेटा I am going to try sending it again to you all. ठीक है? So hopefully it will work. Copy and paste. But I'm doing it, all of you. Just see, I've done it again. Can you see? To all the panelists and attendees.
Yes, ma'am. It's
Yes,
visible
ma'am.
now. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank God, Nihal. Okay, now you guys take your time, fill up this and send it to me. There is a submit option. Directly it will land in my email box, right? So you finish, do it very quickly. You can take like 10, 15 minutes, no issues. Don't forget to write your names, my dears, all of you.
Ma'am, it's saying you can't sign in from your personal email ID. So I have just one email ID. So what should I do?
Oh, Nihal, then though I don't think you can do this because it should have a Amity email ID. Oh, chalo, not an issue. I will just send me your on the chat box itself. Why don't you send me your email?
Okay, ma'am. I will mention.
You message me on the chat box only. Okay, and let me see if I can send you this. Okay. Nihal Singh. Okay, just a minute. I'll try sending it to your this thing email ID. Okay, just a minute. I'm trying to open my email. The rest of you, can you see, guys? The other people, all of you. Nihal, obviously, I'll do something for him, and I will send you the link.
Ma'am, I have finished, ma'am.
Oh, great, great, great. I'll just check. Let me see.
Ma'am, I've just written the ABC. That's fine, right?
No, no, you should have written your name by ABC.
Oh no, ma'am. I mean the options.
That is fine. That is fine. I thought maybe you in your name section you have
No,
written
ma'am. I've
this.
written my name.
Okay, 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 fine, perfect, perfect. It was a quiz, the multi this thing, MCQ type thing. Okay, Nihal, Nihal, I have sent you a link.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
see if you
On my
can.
email.
On your email, Nihal Singh 2244. This one which you had sent me, na?
Yes, ma'am. I can see it now.
So I don't know whether it will open now or not because this is these children have the Amity ID, na? So I'm not very sure, but if it doesn't, then I will copy paste the whole. Now I have your email, so I'll copy paste the whole of the this thing and send it across to you. Okay. Just see if you can open it.
No, ma'am. I still can't open it because it's again asking the same thing.
Same thing. Acha, chalo.
Doesn't matter, ma'am. I have already the quiz thing can be avoided. It's you should not do anything particular only for me. I have already learned a lot from you.
Let me see
Because
if
you
I
know,
can copy paste it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, up till now, only one response has been received, guys. Remember this. So only one response has come to me. Okay. So I am copy pasting the whole thing and sending it across. Let me see if it works, Nihal. I really hope it does.
Meanwhile, I would just like to say something to Kassis. Kassis, if you can hear me, I would just like to say something to you. Like I have listened everything whatever you have spoken about the topic, but you have also shared your personal your personal thoughts about it. I'll just like to say to you like it really moved me because you said everything directly from your heart. So I just request you to please don't ever lose your innocence. You seems to be you seems to be a very innocent person, and this world really needs people like you. Please never lose your innocence. Thank you. There are
Thank you so much.
very few people in this world who really have such kind of innocence. Thank you so much, Kassis.
Thank you.
I don't know if you will ever meet or not, but I'd like to meet. I'd definitely like to meet such people more, because you guys are the reason that really drives me. You guys are the reason that really inspires me a lot.
Okay, Nihal, I have sent you the entire quiz. However, you will not be able to, submit it. But nonetheless, since you've been a very active participant of my session, I have sent you the quiz. So at least you have some idea what it is all about. And guys, as soon as you are done with your submissions, please do inform me. Okay, and from here, we shall move to the end of this session, wherein I have one more takeaway for you. You are not supposed to give me that write up right now, but you can definitely think about it. Again, it is something which will stir you, which will move you, which will make you think. So as just now Kashish was talking about gender discrimination, there are other things also which are happening around us. I don't know how much you people are, attentive to those facts. So just let me know as soon as you are done with the quiz so that we can go ahead. Yes, Shivani. Yes, Shivani. I can see your hand is raised, my dear. Shivani? Okay, can you guys all see my screen as of now? Because I think time is running again. We don't have much time left.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my screen?
No, ma'am. I can only see you.
Okay. Okay. Not an issue. We'll do something. Don't worry. So perhaps I have again to minimize it, go back, because suddenly I opened many things at one go now. So perhaps, okay. Okay, I'm sharing my screen one more time, and here it is. Okay. Now can you see it? So this
Yes,
is
ma'am. Now it's visible.
Now it is visible. This is the last workshop takeaway from me to you. Now, as I told you, many things are happening around you, but later I don't know how inquisitive you actually are. So we have three options here. And Nihal, you can definitely be part of it, because you have to send it to me on my email ID, which is not a difficult problem, which is not a difficulty at all. So instead of like submitting it on MS Forms, you can send me your input here. So this is the last of the tasks or the takeaways which we have, and that is with many people reading digital copies of books. Are libraries necessary anymore? On this, you need to create a persuasive piece. So just like you people have done, you guys have, shared your thoughts about those topics which we had just now discussed as part of our expository writing mode or writing format. This particular, piece is for persuasive writing. So how with many people reading digital copies of books, are libraries necessary anymore? That is one. Second, with the rise in selfies and Instagram photo filtering apps, do you think we have become a more self-obsessed society? It's a very smart question, and I do hope that you will respond to this. Third option, women have what is known as the second shift, meaning that as soon as they get back home from work, they have additional responsibilities that require their attention immediately. What do you think about this concept, and should anything be done about it? So out of these three options, you can pick any one and write a persuasive piece and send it across to me. This is my mail ID, tkashyap@amity.edu. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
What are the three topics, ma'am?
Again, I'm showing it on the screen. Yes, I'm showing it on the screen. You can take a picture of it so that you don't forget. out of these three, do any one, attempt any one, but remember you have to convince me. You have to write a piece wherein you need to be very convincing. You need to sound very convincing. Okay. So with this, let me make another announcement for all of you. Tomorrow is holiday. Tomorrow is Buddha Purnima. And hence, on account of Buddha Purnima, we will not be holding any of the workshops. But we shall come back to meet you on Thursday, same time, 2 to 4. And on Friday also from 2 to 4. Is that clear or should I repeat?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So dears, take a picture of this this slide so that you remember you have to do this. Take away you. This is the assignment which you need to do, and send it to me on. Again, I'm showing you my mail ID. You can click a picture of this as well. Okay. Is that okay? Should I stop
Yes,
sharing
ma'am.
my screen now?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Okay, so thank you all of you, for being so very enthusiastic participants. I'm grateful to you for having joined me, for having been part of this workshop. And it was a pleasure to meet so many of you. Some of you are from Amity, some of you are from outside. It was a wonderful experience, lovely experience to be with all of you. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that my session was of some help.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it
Thank
was
you
an
for,
informative session.
yes, ma'am. Thank you for all
Ma'am,
the effort that you have taken, ma'am. We really enjoyed it.
Yes, ma'am,
Oh,
we thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
thank you, beta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Nihal, keep in touch
ma'am,
because,
yes,
yes.
ma'am, you are the one who will take our Thursday lecture, na? Or will there be any other
No.
professor?
Some other professor will come definitely, and but I will be there. I'll be present during that entire time, so I'll be there. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
yes, it was a wonderful, experience to be with all of you and to talk to such young people with so much of energy, so much of, vibrancy. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me as a presenter. So thank you once again for being part of both my sessions.